everyone, it's James at Amused Bouche. I've turned into an owl. So, huh? Hey everyone, it's James at Amused Bouche. Merry Christmas, one and all. And today we are hitting up another Christmassy little treat for you. I'm making some cake pops. Now, cake pops become very popular over the past few years. Essentially, make a cake and then you crumb that cake up and then you put some ice in with it and you make them into little balls, you freeze them, you dip them in chocolate, and there you go. But what we're going to do is make them very Christmassy themed. If you're enjoying this Christmas season of Amused Bouche videos, please drop us a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This little button down here. Don't click that button because it doesn't do anything, but you know, subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave us a comment. What would you decorate your cake pop? How would you want to decorate your cake pop? What says Christmas to you? There's quite a few processes to get underway and it's already dark. Yeah, I'm filming this intro quite late on, but it is already dark outside, so let's get to it. So, first things first, and we're going to need to make some cake. Cake is a very basic recipe and is very easy to remember. For every egg that you use, you need 50 grams of sugar, 50 grams of butter, and 50 grams of flour. So, into a mixing bowl, I'm going with 100 grams of unsalted butter, which I'm going to start beating down until it's nice and soft. To that, I'm adding 100 grams of caster sugar, which I'm then going to continue mixing or creaming together until they are mixed thoroughly. Then slowly add 2 beaten eggs, a little at a time. They might split, but it's recoverable, so don't worry too much. And if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm trying to heat the bowl slightly, because the butter was still a little hard and it didn't seem to be mixing with the sugar too. It didn't work basically, so don't do this. There, you know, admitted defeat straight away. Next, we're going to add the 100 grams of flour and try and always sieve your flour. I like to do it like this, put it all into a sieve and do it out onto a piece of baking paper, which makes life so much easier when you're trying to get it into the mixer. I'm also adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder to the mix. This is because I only had plain flour and we want to make sure the cakes get a rise. Just before adding this to the bowl, we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract because, well, we want our cake to taste like vanilla, essentially. Then once that's mixed through, we can add all of our dry ingredients. And don't forget a pinch of salt. Once everything's combined, we're going to take a spring-form tin and we're going to give it a good coating of butter just to make sure nothing sticks. Also add a baking paper round into the bottom so that it will release easily. To be honest, you could bake this in anything. We're not doing it for the shape, we're doing it for the cake crumb. So if you want to cook it in a square tin, cook it in a square tin. If you want to cook it in a frying pan, cook it in a frying pan. It's all going to get mushed up anyway. When it's in the baking vessel, it goes into the oven at 190 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes or golden brown. Stick a little skewer in the cake, and if it comes out clean after that 20 minutes, you're good to go. Now, I'm about to do exactly the same thing again, so I've basically sped it all up nice and quick. Butter, caster sugar, eggs, sieving the flour, and then while we're sieving the flour, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder to the mix, just to make these cakes lovely and chocolatey, which is something you want at Christmas. I've actually doubled up on the amount of cake here, so remember, for every egg it's 50 grams of all the other ingredients, so I've gone 200 grams of butter, 200 grams of sugar, 200 grams of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder as before, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder to make it chocolatey. Bake that for maybe 25-30 minutes at the same temperature because it's a little bit bigger. Use the skewer trick, it's always going to be a winner. While both of your cakes cool on cooling racks, we're going to make some icing to help bind the cake pops together. It's a basic buttercream icing, so into your mixing bowl goes 200 grams of butter, which is nice and soft, and then 400 grams of icing sugar. Now, I like to use a tablespoon and add just a little bit of that icing sugar to the bowl at a time, or else, honestly, you're going to end up with like a nuclear plume of icing sugar if you go all at once. Once it's been beaten together for a little while, it'll turn into this lovely creamy texture. We're going to take 1/3 out and put it in a separate bowl. We're going to use that white icing for the vanilla cake pops. And then to the rest of the buttercream, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder again, just to give you that, you know, that chocolate ting. Now get ready for this, because through the power of editing, meaning you don't have to sit and watch me do this twice, you're now going to see me prepping both the chocolate and vanilla cake pops at the same time. So what you want to do is crumb your cooled cake into a bowl like so. Just between your fingers, no messing around. Once it looks like a breadcrumb type texture in the bottom of the bowl, excellent, job done. Add the buttercream icing, and this is where you're now going to get your hands dirty. Mix the crumbs with the icing until it all binds together and becomes almost sticky. You want to grab a small amount of this dough and roll it together until it becomes the size of a golf ball. The vanilla ones are a bit bigger than a golf ball, sure, but as a point of reference, use golf ball. Next, to make sure your lollipop sticks stay in your cake pop, we're going to dip them in some melted chocolate. Here I'm using the white chocolate because I'm going to be making some snowmen. So put your lollipop stick in the chocolate and then push it into the bottom of the cake pop. This should create a seal and keep it in place. Get them into the freezer and let them have about half an hour to an hour to completely firm up. If you don't do this, when you try and turn them in the chocolate coating, they'll fall off into the chocolate. It'll be a mess. How do I know this? Well, you know, because it clearly happened to me the first time, and then I put them back in the freezer for a little longer. Whilst they are firming up in the freezer, you can make some decorations. I just picked up some coloured fondant icing from a supermarket and used it to make these little accessories, I suppose, for the cake pops. Here you can see we're making some coal eyes and carrot noses. I say we, it's Ruth. She's making them. She's more arty than me. Once the cake pops have firmed up, you can roll them in the chocolate of your choice. And if they've been in the freezer, then they should firm up pretty quickly. If you want to double dip for a nice thick chocolate coat, then please do. Just make sure that you've got them propped up somehow. I used an old egg box in a tray to make sure that they set firmly. Use a little more chocolate to adhere the nose and eyes and even some antlers if you're making the reindeer. And there you go. Some nice little Christmassy cake pops for you to enjoy. Are they worth the effort? Probably not, but they do taste quite good. Listen, that was hard work. Still got this on because you know it's the spirit of Christmas, but these look absolutely terrifying. That's like an owl. Don't focus on me, focus on him. I mean, he actually doesn't look too bad there, but like the one I really want to try is the reindeer one. I mean, they look quite cool with little pretzels for antlers. Yeah, the chocolate ones are really nice. I imagine after you've had one, you'd be like, oh God, I'm really sick. And that's what people want to hear, isn't it? You'll finish it and go, oh, I just want to be sick. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Listen, God bless you all. And I'll tell you for why, because you've watched. And if you've got this far, even more praise to you. Don't try and make these. You might be more successful than me, and that's what this show's all about. You know, just trying to encourage people to do stuff. So if you want to give it a go, give it a go. But it's going to take you a few hours. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, as I always say, and follow us on Instagram. If you do make some of these, then post them on Instagram and tag us, and we'll share the pictures. Definitely. Always. Come back next time for another Christmas video, and I'll see you. I'll see you later. Ruth's laughing at me. She's cracking up. Because I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I've lost it.